Hello, guys. Welcome back. This is RandoGEEK. All right, so we have an important article for you guys because you should know what's going on behind the scenes from some of your favorite carriers, okay? They're involved in what's called a messy. This is a messy situation for them. And when the boots are coming rocking, you know, the fines are going to come knocking because this is a mess here for them. Okay, and this could potentially cost them millions upon millions of dollars in fines. So let's take a look at this article. It's a short one. The link will be down for you guys in the description as normal, in case you want to read it on your own or share it with someone else. But the article is from Light Reading. We get a lot of our news reports from them, and the author is once again Mike Dono. Mike brings a lot of these articles. He's a very big editor for Light Reading. So the title here, AT&T, others facing significant financial exposure from lead legacy. So according to financial analysts at New Street Research, AT&T, Verizon, and other telecom giants could eventually be forced to cough up significant amounts of money to protect Americans from aging telecommunication wires covered in lead. So the analysts noted that this issue is extremely complex from a regulatory and business perspective. As a result, they said that they don't expect any definitive actions to affect the company for at least the next several years. Regardless, the WSJ article raises the prospects that telephone companies may face significant financial exposure down the road that the market has not anticipated. The analyst wrote in a note to investors Monday following a lengthy article from the Wall Street Journal, which was published on Sunday. It is difficult to determine the relative potential exposures of the company, but given its footprint, it is likely AT&T will have the greatest exposure. All right. The analyst also warned that the issue probably won't blow over anytime soon. The WSJ on Monday published another article on a lead-covered telephone in New Iberia, Louisiana, that was likely constructed sometime in the 1940s by Southern Bell, a precursor to today's AT&T. Right. So according to the publication, that line now may be threatening residents, including children. Southern Louisiana is a prime example of how old phone cables are contaminating soil and water across the U.S., according to a journal investigation the publication wrote. The companies involved in the issue, including AT&T and Verizon, argued that their cables don't pose a health hazard. They also said that they generally follow all federal and state guidelines for dealing with lead. After the expose, the WSJ allocated substantial resources to its new report on lead in aging telecommunications infrastructure. The publication tested soil and water samples from the U.S., from the Lake Tahoe in California to the Passaic River in New Jersey, and found substantial evidence that lead-covered telecom lines could threaten nearby residents. It also pointed to several lawsuits on the topic over the past several years. In one, AT&T agreed to remove the cables at a cost of $1.5 million, but it didn't admit wrongdoing. The New Street analyst wrote that they now expect calls from the Congress and other government officials for an investigation, which could be conducted by the EPA, OSHA, and or the FCC. At the end of its articles, the WSJ offers readers with knowledge of lead at telephone companies to submit their names and phone numbers. However, it is not clear, and will not be for a very long time, probably post-2024, what powers the federal agencies will have to fine or force remediation, what the policy references of those agencies will be. That's according to the New Street analysts. Lead was commonly used for insulation and protection of telecom wires from the late 1800s to 1960s. The WSJ pointed out that the U.S. government has spent decades eradicating lead from sources such as paint, gasoline, and pipes, but the publication also noted that in some cases lead-covered telephone lines are so old that no company claims ownership. Modern telecom cabling is now mostly plastic, but new network build-out projects often do not include efforts to remove aging infrastructure. So, there you have it. Basically, None of these companies are clean as far as I'm concerned when it comes to this. We're going to probably hear more about it. This is going to be a developing story. So far, the big names are AT&T because they're the oldest company. All right. They've been around the longest. They've been laying down these cables much longer than Verizon and T-Mobile put together, which is why AT&T's name is the leader in this. Okay, they're the biggest issue with AT&T is they haven't upgraded a lot of these cables since they were laid down, and now it's going to cost them a lot of money to redo them. Plus, they're going to have to pay fines on top of that. So this is going to pretty much wreck them financially, which is a really big issue because they're already bleeding financially. So this is where the drama for AT&T is going to come. So you know how like we've been saying, or I've been saying, AT&T, they're focused on fiber. They're going to try to build capital, return to wireless or whatnot. This could really hurt them. Depending on how severe it is, how many cables have to be replaced, how much they spend in fines. I don't know how big it'll be, but if the article says that they're definitely going to be the ones to be the most effective. But that's pretty obvious. They've been around the longest. Okay, they've been building a network for the longest out of all the other carriers. They're as old as time. They were the original phone company. So they get credit for being the original phone company, but they're also going to suffer now because a lot of those sites need to be upgraded. Verizon's also going to feel it. So it's safe to say that there will be other carriers that we'll hear about, possibly T-Mobile, maybe not as much. Probably a lot of their sites are a little newer, but you never know. So this is going to be a problem for AT&T either way you look at it. They really don't want any more of this financial grief that they're about to receive. So I don't know how much this will affect them. I think it's going to hurt them a lot. But again, it really depends on how many sites they have not upgraded. Obviously they're going to probably try to battle out in court. They're going to try to say, well, these cables were before we bought this and we merged here and we did. They're going to come up with a million excuses to say, it was under different management then and dead and, those companies are, bankrupt and went under. And because obviously AT&T went through many transformations over the last 30, 40 years, right? So, this is the thing with the carriers, right? It's like they take a step forward, but then, the one step they take backwards, they fall and they can't get up. It's not like it's like a little step backwards and, they fall and then they can't get back up. It's always something bad. And it seems like that's the case with all these businesses. They're never doing things the right way, or they're always trying to save a couple dollars. It never fails with these companies. And it's not just on the wireless side. It's on the cable side. It's not just like telecommunications. It's really every company that we know and grew up with plays a dirty game, cuts corners. The CEOs are filling their bank accounts with high bonuses. They're neglecting the business. And then, we get we're going out of business. We went bankrupt. It's because you were greedy. You robbed the company. You didn't do what was best for the company. You did what was best for you. And, I hate to say it, they win because they already got the check. Check is cashed. Money's in their account. So even if the company goes under, they have their, millions upon millions in the bank. They can leave the country and no one will ever hear from them again. And everyone else is left to clean up the mess. All the people that get laid off, all the customers that were depending on a service get screwed. And that's just how it goes with these businesses. So we'll see how this plays out. Definitely going to be a developing story because, they don't even know where to move on this yet. They're still trying to figure out how they can, I guess, get a case going. And there's a lot of sites that they're probably still investigating. But, there's going to be a lot of fines to pay for both Verizon and AT&T. But definitely AT&T is going to feel it because, like I said, these cables that have lead in it were built many years ago when, AT&T was laying out a lot of, lines, So, yeah, there you have it. Link, like I said, will be down for you guys below in the description. Feel free to voice your comments down below, how you feel about this. It's just a mess because I feel like every time you put a little faith in one of your carriers and you try to boost them up and give them a little, give them a compliment on what they're doing right, they just like a day later, there's something with them. Like you get an article about something they did wrong, 30 years ago in this case. And now we got to hear about it. But, it's because they refuse to upgrade some of these sites because they don't want to spend the money. But yet they're taking money and doing other things with it that they could have reinvested back into the company. So when you see these companies failing, honestly, at the end of the day, a lot of the times it's their own fault or it's the people that they have in position. So that's why I say, like, if we look at all these carriers, all of them, Dish, okay, AT&T, Verizon, T-Mobile, they're all good far as network goes for the most part, right? I mean, we all have our favorite carriers that work best, that have a broader network. But as far as the network goes, performance-wise, they're all pretty good. We like them all. We would use all of them if we could. But it's the actual business side of these companies that's the turnoff. That's the side that makes you feel like, because there's so many things that they could be doing better. And the people that they put in position, have the ability to make these changes, but they don't care enough. Truthfully, they just don't care enough. They want their bonus. They want their salary. They could care less. Even if they get canned, replaced, whatever, they have enough money, they move on, they'll work for another company and they'll just keep doing it and doing it and doing it. And, the next person that comes in is left to clean up a mess from the person that was previously there. And that's just how it works in this business world, right? It's a mess. It's a disaster. And it's not for everybody. I'll tell you that. You really have to be like a certain mind frame to be able to deal with all that drama within a large company like that, because they're going to hear about it now at AT&T, that's for sure. So, all right, guys, there you have it. Thank you guys for watching. Much appreciated. I'll catch you in the next one. Bye for now.